What's happening, sports fans? Welcome back to the first San Diego Prep Insider post break. Hope you are all rested. Hope you are all well. Hope you are all excited to talk about some high school sports. Bodie De Silva, he is joining us from Scorebook Live. Tommy Morris, he is joining us from what seems to be a technologically tough day. We all have those every now and then, and Tommy seems to be struggling with the curse of Apple not telling you anything.
I just don't get, if I want to use my computer to send text because it pops up as messages, why can I now not switch it back from saying it's from my email to my phone when he's my phone?
Makes no sense.
I don't get it.
Makes no sense whatsoever. This show brought to you today by our new sponsor, the U.S. Marines, or we welcome back the U.S. Marines. They've always been a big part of the life here in San Diego, and they are joining us once again. You will see their logo splashed over all of our great highlights, like what we had last night. Guys, I got to see soccer because go figure that the pandemic and Omicron has finally convinced me that soccer is worth a decent amount of time being spent covering it because it's safe, it's outdoors. I don't ever have to stress about anything. And I've actually seen a goal scored at every game I've been to this year. It's a blessing. So we're really glad to have the Marines on board, bringing you all those highlights throughout the rest of the season. Bodie De Silva is here on behalf of Scorebook Live. They are the greatest possible support system that anybody in the high school universe has ever had. They are disrupting and taking over from the previous regime. Guys, I want to talk about the top 10. I want to talk about some top people in every division. And I know that game balls is always something that Tommy comes into the group chat with some of the most impressive numbers from around the county during the week. Can we start with the top 10? Bodie De Silva from Scorebook Live. Your Scorebook Live top 10 this week contains who? Because fair amount of DNPs over the last couple of weeks, aside from just some major tournaments.
Yeah, it's been pretty difficult to put it together. And the last 2 weeks, I've ended up keeping it the same just with cancellations. I think as we get forward more into league play, we'll get some separation. But St. Augustine's a team I've been high on all year. They were number one, despite during the holiday tournament, them playing without 4 or 5 starters for most of the tournament. They're still at number one. They bounced back last week. Strength, a 41-point win over Madison, just shows how good they are. And that's a Madison team that's pretty good. They've come close to jumping in the top 10 this year. So San Marcos, they ended their long break last night, finally came back. It was just under 3 weeks. They beat a really good Windward team from LA. San Ysidro is a team. They've jumped up to number 3 for me. Really good holiday tournament. And this time you'll go over some really good individual performances. Torrey Pines is at number 4 for me, 10-4. Still a really good team. I think they're just trying to figure out at this point, will league be as easier as it has been in seasons past for them? They've had some long winning streaks there. Mission Hills at number 5, a really impressive team. I've gotten to see a couple times this year. Have come up just short against some better teams. They were leading Torrey Pines, couldn't finish that one out. La Costa Canyons at number 6. They went and beat San Marcos a couple weeks ago, so that's a really impressive win for them. Mission Bay at 7. They got a huge win over Coronado last night. Cathedral Catholics at 8. Carlsbad is back in at number 9 with probably the best freshman in the county in Jake Hall. And then Scripps Ranch is in there at number 10, but you got a lot of candidates right there at the end. I had San Diego, La Jolla Country Day, and Montgomery. They're all right there on the bubble.
I love an on the bubble team. Might be one. I'll put that on the poll selfishly at SD Prep Insider on Twitter and Instagram is where you can find all the polls. You can find Bodie at SD Preps. Also, make sure to follow Scorebook Live at SB Live CA. Tommy is at Real Tommy Morris, or temporarily banned on Facebook sometimes as well because he's a rogue poster.
I'm back.
He's back. He's back on the Facebook.
I don't know how someone figured out my password. I thought 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 would throw them off. You know what I mean? No one gets to 5. So I thought getting all the way to 5 would get them.
But I'll put that on Twitter at SD Prep Insider. Do you love an on the bubble team? Tommy, you like doing yours 10-1. Do you have any major differences? Do you have anyone sneaking in there? Because we talked about, there's about 15 teams worth of vote there. How do you see it?
Yeah, there's a few in the back that I have that Bodie didn't have. I'll start with number 10. I will start with La Jolla Country Day at number 10. San Diego will be number 9. Mission Bay 8. Cathedral Catholic number 7. Mission Hills at number 6. Torrey Pines 5. San Ysidro 4. LCC number 3, San Marcos number 2, and I agree with Bodie, St. Augustine at number 1.
There you have it. For more updates, look for what's coming on Scorebook Live. Also, just remember this doesn't mean anything. Our votes on who are the top 10 mean absolutely nothing. Teams will wind up where they wind up and do what they do as they do without us ranking them because we don't put them in playoff spots in actuality. From the last week of games, there's a lot of top performers. That's where we like to give out game balls. Tommy Morris, you had some of the hugest numbers from the week. You want to start us off with your first game ball, please?
Yeah, we'll go down south. We'll start. We're Olympian and San Ysidro the first. So Kyle Potente from Olympian, 20 points, 10 rebounds in the win over Central. Sebastian Medina, San Ysidro with a game over Eastlake, 25 points, 8 rebounds, 8 assists and 6 rebounds. Oh, wait, but the game before, I should probably mention where he scored, I don't know, 60 points against Bonita Vista. That's pretty good. I think anytime you drop a 60, I don't care what, I cannot drop 60 points in an empty gym. I don't think. Can't do it. Zaire Mendez, from Montgomery, 8 of 9 shooting for 19 points in their win over Southwest San Diego. Always good when you almost shoot 100% with that many shots. And then finally, Chase Newman from Ramona, 24 points, 10 rebounds in their win over El Cap.
Yeah, a couple for me here. Brea Cunningham, we know from La Jolla Country Day, dominant post player for the girls team there. Big win for them over Sierra Canyon this last week. La Jolla Country Days jumped all the way up number 2 in our California rankings and arguably a top 10 team in the country. In that win, 24 points, 15 rebounds, 4 blocks. So she's as dominant as you'll find in the high school level. Ice Brady at Cathedral Catholic, we know she's headed to UConn. 31 points and 24 rebounds in their win on Saturday over Ontario Christian. So huge win for her. Going over to the boys side, Jake Jackson, a guy who is really a standout at every sport. It's crazy. Really good receiver for Madison, really good basketball player this last week, had 23 points, 13 rebounds against Poway, and then he's a baseball commit. So
wasn't he playing? He was playing 3 sports at the same time last year, wasn't he?
Yeah,
one of the weird COVID rules.
One of the most impressive athletes we've got around. Cam Marshall at Patrick Henry, 26 points and 6 3-pointers in a win when they beat Madison last week. So some good performances on the boys and girls.
Nobody will ever be able to understand what that was like. Like literally there will be a generation that'd be it. Back in my day, you had to go from the baseball game to the basketball game to the volleyball game without any breaks. Like for like one split second, we were letting kids suit up and play in back-to-back games in a single day. And there was kids that were down to do that. That is insane. That's absolute insanity. Man, I think
just to mention the one change we've got this year that CIF changed about 10 days ago is having these Sunday games now. So for the rest of the winter sports season, we will see some games on Sunday. I know La Jolla Country Day and San Ysidro just played this last Sunday. And with a month left in the season, there have been so many cancellations, league plays getting started. Teams really want to get these games in to get full data points and get their kids as many of these 28 games, at least on the basketball side. So we're going to see a lot of, maybe they play Wednesday, Friday, maybe you have a Saturday game and then try and push in a Sunday game. You can't practice on Sundays, but will be fun to at least see some Sunday games because that's not something that we ever have around.
Yeah, couldn't agree with you more there. I think that also when you're looking at it, just how cool is that we're taking down like big brand name schools. Like our girls basketball teams are legitimately sending players to UConn and taking down brand names in California. That's freaking awesome.
The brand name ICE is a genius. That's a great name.
Windward, we know Windward's such a good school from up in LA, and they came down boys and girls last night, and La Jolla Country Day girls beat them and San Marcos boys beat them. So really good wins last night.
All right, guys, want to make just a quick, let's do, we talked about on the bubble. We are on the bubble of it being playoff time. Like you said, league play is in the midst of getting started. So I want to just take a quick shotgun look through Ds 1 through 5 at maybe some teams that are either I like them as my dark horse, or, they're a favorite for a reason and look for them to be, just somebody out of that group of maybe 3 or 4 at the top of every division. Granted, we know that still a lot left to change here. None of this science is correct. I think this is just an early time to take a look at some interesting things. In Division 1, I saw these guys last night, Mission Bay. I think that Mission Bay is really interesting this year because we've seen, obviously, like the signature Boogie Ellis years where they know how to create a culture where one guy can facilitate everything. This team seems like there's like 3 or 4 permutations of different combinations on the court that they can win with. So I have been multiple times over impressed by them. Tommy, you talked about Country Day being in your top 10. That seems like another team in this D1 race. San Ysidro, I think it's really interesting seeing them at the 3 ranking. But maybe if we move down a bit into, out of the open division into that D1 category, who is a team or two that you're looking at, Bodie?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's really tough at this point because there's so many teams that are still in contention to grab one of those 8 open spots. And I think it's really going to be bunched up. But I look at whether Country Day gets their way and San Diego High, who's a young team, can they make open, or are they going to be one of those top seeds? Mater Day Catholic, I know how good they are. I think Del Norte is one that I've seen earlier in the year. A team that I don't expect to make open, but I would be very surprised if they're not one of the top 4 in D1. And I just think that's a team that experienced and can make a run there.
Tommy.
Yeah, it's a tough thing to navigate because you really have to pay attention to the rosters because there's so many kids getting sick and being out and stuff like that. It's hard to take these games and take them for what it's worth. I mean, one of my dark horses in Division 1 would be Del Norte because they're probably going to be around a 4 seed in there. And if Cathedral slips out of the open, which is very, very possible, look out for them. That could be a runaway for them in Division 1 if they do fall out of the top 8 spots.
On to Division 2. Sort of the teams rising to the top. We got Montgomery, we got Bishops, Otay Ranch, Calexico, Army Navy, Hoover Olympian, Mira Mesa, Sage Creek. It kind of goes off from there. You can find all of these rankings online. We'll provide links for everything. Between Montgomery and Bishops, Otay Ranch and Calexico, down to maybe Army Navy, we've got the full spectrum. We've got big public, small private, interior shooters, big physical. This seems like already we've gone from great D1 is a little bit predictable to great. All hell will break loose in this playoff bracket. Do you guys see any of these teams closing out the season, rising to the top as a favorite, or is this kind of an open anyone's tournaments win?
Yeah, to me, I could make the case 5, maybe 6 teams here. I think Bishops is really in that mix. Montgomery's been really impressive. I got a chance to see Otay Ranch early on. They've been good. Sage Creek, Patrick Henry. I mean, yeah, I really think there's 5, 6 teams in this mix, and we'll see if someone steps up this last month through league play, wins those games, and can grab hold of the number 1 spot. Right now, Montgomery has it pretty solidly, but I think this is really wide open.
I've got a dark horse for you too. I mean, so Bishops would be one of the favorites, I think, right now, if you look at Division 2 right now, but they lost to RBB, who's also in here right now. They'd probably be around somewhere in the lower seeds, or in the mid seeds. Sorry. That's team that might be able to pull off some upsets and make some noise. So I would look out for RBB as well.
Moving to Division 3, Granite Hills, High Tech San Diego, Scripps, Morse, West Hills, Madison, Mission Vista. Yeah, past that, we kind of dip down into a little bit wider range of schools, but 4 schools over double digits, 10 or more wins so far at this point in the season. Granite Hills maybe seems to be the runaway favorite here, but I always hesitate when you see some of these just coming from this is where we start to see a difference in league play and strength of schedule resulting in more or less wins. So it's hard to make sense of this sometimes. Bodie, your thoughts on the Division 3 standings currently?
Yeah, I like Scripps Ranch. They've been number 10 for me in my rankings the last 2 weeks. I think something that may hurt Granite Hills, the schedule hasn't been great despite the good record. So hopefully for them, they'll get some better league games as they go on and test them. San Diego is a team, despite being 5-6, I think they're a team that will be able to challenge. They've gone up against some tough teams. They played Tesoro and Edison from out of the section. They played Poway last week. They beat them on the road. They narrow loss to Lacoste at home and a 2-point loss to Mission Bay. So I think this is a team that'll be tested come playoff time. And despite what their record is, I think that's something you can ignore. They have by far the best strength of schedule in that division. So I look for San Diego to make a run in Division 3.
Tommy.
Yeah, I look at stars and who's going to be the best player on the court for a lot of these games. And we mentioned Jackson already at Madison. I mean, the kid's averaging 20 points a game. He's averaging 7.5 rebounds a game and a block shot. That's tough to go against. And I like having who I think would be the best player on the floor at all times. And he's probably in this division going to be one of those guys. So I would look out for Madison here.
Tommy, if you're going to talk about singular star power, our show would be remiss in not acknowledging that Jax Leatherwood would like a word at some point with every single time we've ever gone against Scripps. and Scripps is in this bracket, and Jax is on this team. So I don't think there's any logistical or any logical.
I mentioned Jackson's name enough in football season. I gotta spread the love around a little bit.
Oh no, I understand that we should spread the love around, but I'm saying, do we want to continue falling into this trope where we again pick or not pick, but like at least divert attention away from him, and he has to come and snatch another state title of basketball now to earn our respect and airtime? It's just funny. This kid is everywhere right now. As they say, that Hansel, he's so hot right now. On to Division 4, Monte Vista, Pack Ridge, Claremont, Escondido Charter. Those all have double-digit wins. Then it gets down to, the inverse of that starts happening really, really quick. So this seems like we start to get into the top-heavy part of this bracket. Guys, can you make any case for anything outside of this, maybe top 4 or 5 teams really being in contention here?
I do like the way that Victory Christian has challenged themselves with their schedule. I think they could be a team that would surprise some people, but you are kind of right in the teams that you've mentioned. Those are going to be the front runners, so we'll see. But very impressive win by Victory to beat Lincoln, which is a bigger school. And we'll see how they round out their league season and they can come into the playoffs strong.
Yeah, I would agree. This is one where I look at those top 3-4 teams, maybe 5 with Escondido Charter, and would be surprised if it's anyone outside of them. Maybe give Victory Christian the nod. They have tested themselves, but I think Pacific Ridge and Monte Vista, both good teams as well. So this is one that I think whoever's got home court there, they'll make that run through, and semis will be pretty much who we expect.
Pack Ridge, Monte Vista sounds like a fun final.
Yeah. I'm sure that's one that over the years they have not taken on each other in too many sports.
For whatever reason, I have started to hear the term scoregami just flood my timeline on Twitter, thanks to the NFL this year. And I think we should start, not that there's any actual practical way to do this, but we should start
Game-agami.
Yeah, game-agami, like school-agamis. Is this the first time that Pack Ridge and Monte Vista have ever played? Oh, wow. That's just fun, because we're probably running out of them, but still have enough of them that this could be a fun thing to track. Maybe we'll get the intern Colton on it. Maybe not. I don't know. It's fun to see also just different parts of the county meeting up in the championships. On to the Division 5 brackets. Some of this, you got teams starting to play less games than they have at higher divisions because of lack of tournament participation, some other shortcomings in terms of health and numbers and depth. So it's kind of hard sometimes to make the difference between what is 6-1, what is 7-4, 8-1 versus 8-3. It looks to me, Rock Academy, Horizon Prep, Coastal Academy, there's like 6 or 7 teams that are very easily indistinguishable right here. So we're back to maybe D4 was the only one with any actual clarity. Bodie, what do you make out of this D5 mess?
Yeah, I would agree that there's a lot to look at and not be too sure about. I would go with St. Joseph. They have challenged themselves more than others, but even just looking at division up, they played Escondido Charter and lost by 37 points. So I would give them the nod, but I'm not too confident about it at this point. It's just they've gone on, they've played Christian, they played Bishops. I think those games will help them when they get there, and for them it probably looks like home court advantage. But at this point, I think it really any of those top 6, 7, 8 you could make a case for.
Tommy,
I'll look a little bit down the list. I'll look at Valley Center. Very, very slow start for them, but ever since then they picked it up. Their league schedule is going to be tough, so they're going to come into the playoffs being tested a little bit, and kind of analogy I like to use, on the on-deck circle with the batter's donut on, they're going to have a heavy batter's donut on before they walk up to the plate, which is a playoff. So they're going to be battle tested, ready to go. Elko and Valley, another team who's playing some bigger schools. I know the record isn't what they would want it to be at this point, but same thing. When you challenge yourself, it helps. So I would look at those two as well.
Appreciate that, guys. Anything that we missed this week on the show? I don't necessarily think we need to debate whether or not there's going to be a shutdown or get back into, because A, we did that show for a year, and B, it's not in our control. So we'll update you guys if something does happen. I know that the LA Unified has now postponed athletics, per what I saw on Scorebook Live, and LA is a different city than us, but LA Unified is also somewhat of a trendsetter. And if they do stuff, then it seems like it's okay for other districts to do stuff. So we admit it could be very fluid and dynamic, and we're hoping that we're going to be fine. And fingers crossed that this will disappear soon. We don't have to actually cancel games. Maybe some stuff gets pushed back or scheduled around.
Yeah, and
Like
I
Bodie
believe
said,
LA
something
is just through this weekend, so I don't think it's some.
Yeah, it said postponed, not canceled.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying that if LA Unified is willing to do a week off,
Yeah.
then I think that makes other districts like San Diego Unified more willing to be like, okay, there's precedent for this now. Let's tell everyone to knock off for 6 days or whatever, which just makes that last week or two of the schedule even more juicy and even more packed. And we'll just have basketball teams playing double headers, which will be insane. I love it. We will be here for all of it. You can follow Bodie at SD Preps or SB Live CA, Tommy at Real Tommy Morris. I am Mr. CPED. Thank you very much for watching another episode of San Diego Prep Insider. We'll talk to you guys soon.